Perfect, and welcome everybody to another Sharewise webinar. We're joined by Managing Director Geoffrey Jamieson today with Orcoda. We're very interested to hear a bit about yourself, Geoffrey, and a bit about your history, but also about the company with a few of our previous webinar watchers, as well as some shareholders, I imagine. Just for those people that have attended today, if we could just hold our questions to the end of the presentation, we'll try and get through to all of those. But Geoffrey, obviously, Orcoda, the company's been around for a little while now, and it's been performing quite well. But we're interested to hear a bit more about yourself. How did you get started with the company?
Yeah, so thank you, Lachlan, and thank you for everybody joining us. My background is started back in the early 80s with a company called Vital, which we grew into the largest tech company in Australia and moved into the US as well with that. Whilst in the US, I worked on the STARS program that was used to develop the Space Shuttle and X-29I oblique wing aircraft and the Hubble Space Telescope, and then used that technology to build the Kookaburra Syndicate yachts that beat Australia too for the America's Cup, and had a very long background in technology-based products and growing companies. We sold that company off to Wang and Unix, and since then I've been growing other companies and selling them off. I got involved with Orcoda, and you'll see during the presentation how that occurred, but we started a company called Orcoda Connect back in 2012 and developed a software program and a booking system to book people, parcels and goods onto transport, and that end up merging into part of our mergers and acquisition program into a company called Smart Trans that became Orcoda, and the rest I'll tell you about as we're going through.
Perfect. Well, I think that might lead us into the presentation. If you want to get started, that'll be perfect.
Absolutely, Lachlan. So we have a disclaimer on there, of course, but we won't go through that. Organised connected data is where the Orcoda name came from, the OR, the CO and the DA in organised connected data. And that's what we do. We organise connected data and try to connect to the plethora of databases that are out there in transport world that need connecting, so management can make very clear and good decisions for their transport. Our mission is to optimise and enhance compliance of customers' transport operations and supporting their digital transformation, which is really gaining some momentum at the moment, because prior to the pandemic, it was very hard to get companies to digitally transform, but it's now on everybody's lips, which is great for us. What we do, we integrate transport optimization SaaS platforms and in-vehicle fleet management solutions, and provide the contracting services around that and to build infrastructure around transport. Our vision is to be a leading provider of intelligent transport management systems and seamless AI-driven smart city transport solutions. So we've got 280 active customers, 7,000 vehicles using our technologies, 3.1 million annual movements, and 6.4 million ARR, and that's up 64% year on year. Today, we're an integrated B2B provider of smart city transport technology and smart infrastructure solutions within transport corridors. And tomorrow, we will be a leading provider of seamless AI-driven smart city transport solutions. So that's our vision and strategy. Our journey to date has been an interesting one. Like I said, we started Orcoda Connect off in 2012. We patented a booking system that we developed to book people, parcels and goods onto transports That's planes, buses, cars, trucks, whichever way a person's travelling. We then merged that in to a company called Smart Trans, which had a platform that for managing all of the transport operations themselves, transport management system. And we merged the companies and we merged the platforms. We rewrote the Smart Trans platform so it was cloud-based and merged it with our booking system. And that gave us a booking system and a transport management system with true optimization. I'd searched the world, looked at 62 different operating systems, said they did optimization, and having a very good background in technology, I knew what algorithms to look for, and I couldn't find it, but I found it in Smart Trans, and they've got the strongest optimization that I've seen in the world, and I still believe that's current today.
Wow.
We then in 2020 we approached Transport and Main Roads to tell them that we would like to start interconnecting our software into all of the devices and that are out there, smart cameras, smart lightings, everything around road networks. And we were told that unless we install it, we won't get a chance. Hence, we found a company called Better that was doing that, and that was part of our Smart Cities program. So we acquired Better Group in 2020, and that's gone very, very well for us. And we've grown the revenue there from 8.8 to about 16 mil. And then the final part of our integrated intelligent transport management system was to join in with telematics. And we'd been doing that along the way with teletrack navman. And we ended up acquiring Future Fleet, who were a leading provider of fleet management solutions in the telematics marketplace, which gave us the in-vehicle fleet management solutions. And those four things equal the intelligent transport management system that makes Orcoda very, very unique. We believe we're the only ones in the world with the total solution at the moment. And that is made, I just tell everyone how that is made up. So intelligent transport management system is the booking system, as I said, books people, parcels and goods, and that's proprietary to us, books those people, parcels, goods under the transports. That it processes all the bookings, does all the customer management and communications. So it's like a CRM, just dedicated for transport, and does all the reporting and analytics. That's integrated with our transport management system that does all the planning, decision making and AI-driven optimization for the allocation of jobs and the drivers to vehicles. So you've got to get all the bookings in, you've got to match all those bookings with all of the jobs, the available transports, the available people to drive those transports, and then the execution of that planned schedule goes and delivers the schedule out to the drivers for the routes and their pickup and deliveries during their day's session. And then it does all the measurement and reporting.
Yep.
The in-vehicle telematics is a very, very important part of the process. People get in-vehicle telematics mixed up with some of the other things we do, but the in-vehicle telematics manages the vehicle and the driver itself. So it does all the in-vehicle management systems, driver behaviour with all the AI cameras. It tracks the vehicles, does fuel management, does all of those sorts of things, everything to do with the vehicle. And then we've got our transport infrastructure system, and that's the installation of all the IoT devices in transport corridors, like smart lighting, smart cameras, all the connectivity and networks that need to be done. And by integrating all of that together, that's what Orcoda does, and it organises all that connected data so you can make very, very good decisions on any transport network any vehicle, people can book and we can manage the whole process. So the future there for this whole system will be AI-driven digital twins and the management of big data. And big data is what it's all about at the end of the day. Just an example of how the telematics and booking and management systems integrate. One of our solutions is for community transport. And I'll just quickly take you through this. I won't go into it in depth, but most of the big not-for-profits do community transport. There's some 500 of them out there in the marketplace. And their clients, who may be people with disabilities or people who are aged, book their transport through our booking system with an app. So they have our app, they book their transport. That then it goes into our transport management system, which has got all of the fleet and all of the drivers entered in there, so that we can then send out to those people that their trip's confirmed, that they're going to be picked up at a certain time. They can select emails where it can go out to their loved ones and show that exactly when they're going to be picked up and taken to wherever they need to go, and then picked up again and taken home. And it alerts those loved ones every step of the way within our technology platform. The platform then goes, like I said, it allocates all of those bookings amongst all the available vehicles, and you can imagine the number of constraints that are around people with disabilities and those people with who are aged. So the system crunches about 3,000 constraints in a very short time frame, does a full solve of which bookings belong to which vehicles, belong to which drivers, because some people like drivers, select their drivers. And then all of that information goes out to the driver, who on the app, they then can start their route. A good indication of one of our major providers is they were doing 12 trips per vehicle per day before they put our platform in. They now do 24. So huge increase in utilisation across their fleet as well. But the driver can't start his route and do all his pickups and deliveries until he goes through all the governance processes. That's like hasn't drunk alcohol for 8 hours, taken drugs, the car's in good condition, the tyres are good and ready to operate. Once he's got all those ticks, he can then start his route, and then obviously goes out through the process, delivers the people to wherever they need to go, picks them back up again, and delivers a report back to the dispatch person at the not-for-profit that's running that, and also delivers a DEX report for it to into NDIS and My Aged Care. And that is a very, very good system for the ACTA trial, which we were lucky enough to be selected. That's Australian Community Transport Association. That's fully federally government funded out to each of the states. And we got picked as one of 4 providers. The incumbent that's in there now never got picked. And we're now down to one of 2 in that trial that started in July this year and goes through to June. And hopefully at the end of that, Orcoda, if selected, will be the major provider to the 500 providers out there in the marketplace for community transport. It's software.
So that's 500 providers on top of the 250 customers that you already have.
Yes. Yep.
Wow.
Yeah. So major growth area for us, and hence why I've shown you that. Another very large growth area for us is this one. This is just another application, and this is for moving workforces to remote sites, and it's all to do with transport. Again, the telematics sits in each of the vehicles, the buses, the cars, the utes, however those people are getting to work. They book their planes, buses, cars, everything through our system, and our transport management system manages all of this. So each worker of a client, I'll give you an example of one of the projects that we're working on, 2,500 workers across 150 subcontractors, plus all the client workers on a 300 square kilometre site, 10 pickup points for the buses, 200 buses going to 104 different work sites each day. And we're doing 22 flights on flight days, moving people in and out on the R&R cycles. So a logistical nightmare, and our system handles it very well. So the worker gets all the information on the app. All their bookings are all fed into their accommodation, into their planes, into their buses, into the vehicles, and that is all married in with their rosters. So we might have 150 different rosters out there amongst all the subcontractors. Our system manipulates all that into the main project roster, so proper decisions can be made. And then the first thing it does is books them into accommodation once they're ready to travel, because without accommodation, you don't want all of this travel to occur, which is very expensive. And it also works out who is going to pay for that. So all the payments are done through our booking system, and that could be the subcontractor paying it, could be the client, could be the government on a government contract, all depends. But our system works all that out and then bills accordingly the people that have got to pay for the plane, the bus, the accommodation and everything like that.
Yep.
And then the worker gets all that information, which they really love because they've got their full itinerary, they know what's going on. And the good part about it is all the manifests are all digital. So this is all happening in real time. All the airlines love us because we're not using spreadsheets, which go out of date in about an hour. The bus companies all really like all of our technology because they can schedule their buses properly. Plane companies can schedule their planes, and the accommodation providers really love it as well because they're not getting spreadsheets, they're getting live data. And that's the critical thing. So the worker then goes through, gets all their information, and the system also books them into their toolbox meetings and their pre-starts and things like that to make sure that they've got all the right competencies before they start on a job. And then they go back through that same cycle again. So they use the QR code to scan on to the buses, onto the planes, onto the cars, everything, and that's all done through QR codes, which is smart side on in the devices in the vehicles, buses, and planes, and the dumb side on the app. So and that it all depends on someone's swing. They might be on a 2-week swing, a 3-week swing. They keep going round and round in this until the project ends. Another one is telematics. A lot of people don't realise how much goes on around a vehicle in telematics. There is an absolute plethora of devices and diverse databases out there, multiple software programs, and we try to connect all those back into our platform so you can see everything that's going on within a vehicle as well, so that you can make proper decisions. For instance, in the community transport, if somebody complains, we can instantly see if a driver's gone around the wrong way on a roundabout or what the incident was. It does all the fatigue management with all the AI cameras, all that's feeding back into the management system. So connecting all these devices is critical to managing total transport networks. And that's why Orcoda's in a very, very powerful position moving forward. And obviously the other one is about the infrastructure. The future is around smart road, rail and air. We currently work in road, rail and air, developing all of the requirements like electrification, connectivity, data management, building the digital twins around each of these little things. And a lot of people think and think wrong that it's going to be the vehicles or the autonomous vehicles that's going to drive smart cities of the future. That is totally wrong. It'll be all of the transport infrastructure that is going to drive smart cities of the future. So smart poles, wireless smart light networks, wireless mesh networks, all of the devices that, stop lights, everything will hang off all these poles. And when you drive into a mesh network connected into our system, through AR, you'll be able to see all of the things that you need to do in your vehicle. If it's autonomous, it'll drive the vehicle, of course. And those mesh networks, once you're in there, will control every single part of a road corridor, rail corridor, or air. When I say air corridor, we're talking drones. So you can see up the top there, we've got road, rail, and air. They'll all be critical to the smart cities of the future. And obviously with digital twins, we'll be building digital twins around people, around vehicles, around infrastructure, around everything will have a digital twin. It's got AI associated with it, and that will drive the future, all connecting back into our transport management, our intelligent transport management system, driving the big data that is needed to make the management decisions to drive transport networks of the future. So Orcoda's right in amongst it, and we're probably the leader in the world with our integrated system at the moment. The good part about it is we've got lots of applications. Each of these applications hang off the platform, and we develop these internally. And the other big part is we let external app build and integrate into our system, which means it can grow faster than even us by integrating into our integrated platform and our intelligent platform. So I've already been through community transport. We've got metro deliveries. We've got workforce transport, which I've shown you. We've got turn-by-turn navigation, which is I think we've got the only turn-by-turn navigation mapping system in the marketplace at the moment. Most of those mapping systems are point-to-point. This does turn-by-turn. I'll give you a good example of that. Waste management councils, the driver's just following a route. What happens in a normal system? He presses the next route, takes him to where the next bin collection is. There's a roadblock there, so he can't go up that street. The system takes him to the next point, misses that street altogether, and next thing the council's got their phones running hot because people's bins weren't picked up for the day. So this does turn by turn. It takes them back and makes sure those bins are picked up. Very unique mapping system. We've got our carpooling, which is going very well with local government authorities, where local government authorities share all their vehicles amongst all of their staff. The staff book the car through our booking system. They can see where the car is. They pick the car up. We've got keyless entry, keyless start, which is solving a huge amount of problems with local government at the moment. And then we've got some really good little applications. We've got our Fast Mile, which is a straight 100% SaaS platform, very cheap version of our large system that people can download and start scheduling instantly. And then we've got our seat check with the Chain of Responsibility Act that came in last July. All of the big bus companies and everybody, they're mining, all have to have seatbelt, make sure the people have got seatbelts on and in their seat before the vehicle moves. So that's a unique app that we've developed and for all of the large manufacturers. And we've got 3 or 4 of them taking it up at the moment. We see a very big marketplace in that, and that connects back into the vehicle telematics, back into our platform, so that we're getting live feeds all the time out of the vehicles off the system, out of the networks. And
Beautiful.
so we're growing well at the moment. It's been a hard road putting all this together and bringing it together, but it's really starting to deliver results now. And obviously, our income, our cargo is 42%. So we've grown from sort of 8.8 to 25.4. Our EBITDA cargo is 28%. So very substantial growth. We just made the AFR 100 again for the second year in a row, which is a big accolade for the company. We've got the two, what we call two divisions, our Transport Technology Division, our Transport Infrastructure Services Division, and they are all growing very well on income. And so we've had very high growth in our Transport Technology Division with all the software and good EBITDA there, the same in the infrastructure. And you can see there that we've got a fantastic list of clients, some of the biggest and best in Australia. So really, really interesting marketplace that we're heading in, and we get a lot of clients on board because we've got this totally integrated intelligent transport management system. Just our strategy and progress and outlook, we've got a great pipeline of work. Strong momentum in our community transport and carpooling. Our new technology solutions like Seat Check and Fast Mile can be easily integrated within the telematics solutions and in the system for people. And the good part about those two is people can take them on, and then we can upsell into all of the other things that they need. And we're just putting on a whole lot of sales people to start marketing our technology platforms, which we haven't done before. It's all been word of mouth. So we can see we'll start driving good growth through our own sales program. And the other good thing is that we've became a panel member and preferred contractor of Energy Queensland. That took 2 years to put together. That's Ergon, Energex and Eureka. They've got smart cities programs, and electrification is one of the most important parts of the whole thing. And we're right in now with them and can do projects up to 100 million with them. We're also a panel member and preferred contractor for Transport and Main Roads for their infrastructure. And we've just bid to become a panel member, and our team worked really hard putting that bid together for TMR Digital. So that's Transport and Main Roads Digital preferred contractor for our smart cities as well. So that's the start of bringing all this together into our smart cities program. Just our value proposition going forward. We've got customizable solutions. We're vertically integrated. We've got a very scalable model. We've got good exposure to in markets. We've got digital transformation going on, which is we're the major beneficiary of. We've got a growing revenue base, recurring revenue base, which is where we're really trying to grow the business at the moment, that recurring revenue. We can reduce all of our clients' carbon footprints because we save them a lot of money and a lot of fleet utilisation, which drives down their cost and gives them carbon credits. And we've got a very good history of profitable growth to date. The big part about where we're at is we're only in Australia and New Zealand at the moment. The world is our oyster. But just in Australia and New Zealand, in transport telematics, we've got a $5 billion marketplace with a CAGR of 11%. Our transport booking system's $10 billion marketplace with a CAGR of 12%. Our transport management system, $12 billion with a marketplace, a $12 billion marketplace with a CAGR of 7%. And our transport infrastructure, $5 billion marketplace, CAGR of 10%. So overall, a $32 billion marketplace just in Australia and New Zealand, growing at an average of 10% per annum. So very, very large marketplace where we can make a lot of inroads, we believe, into this marketplace because we're quite unique. We've got a very strong leadership team. Sam, I've told you a little bit about myself. Sam Yu, 20 years with investment banking, ex-Barclays MD. He was VP of Carlsberg APAC and ex-Goldman Sachs in Melbourne and in Hong Kong. Jesse Drummond, our CTO, extensive experience in developing applications and running teams. Simon Anthonez, who's our GM for our Transport Technology Division. He's got 20 plus years experience running major projects in the UK and in Australia in transport and knows the space very well. Rick Polsey is our MD of Future Fleet, 20 years with Future Fleet, grew up in the business and is a leader in the space. And Ray Jeffries, who heads up our Better Group, ex-Ventia. He grew Ventia from 7 million to 31 million in 3 or 4 years, and he's doing the same with Better at the moment, which is great for us. So, in conclusion, as cities and major regions around the world initiate AI digital twins for transport, Orcoda is well placed to be a leading provider of seamless AI-driven smart city transport solutions, whilst ensuring profitability each of the step of the way. So each step, we're not out there marketing. It looks like we do a lot, but we don't. We make sure every product that we bring on is profitable in its own right before we even set out developing it. And and we've been very successful in bringing profitable solutions to the marketplace and integrating those into our intelligent transport management system as it grows into the marketplace.
Absolutely, that's brilliant. That's brilliant. Well, obviously, it sounds like there's parts of the business that really have got major steps to grow at this point, and the market share that you could be taking up with regards to that could be huge as well. When it comes down to competition, what sort of competition do you have out there just in general in comparison to and what's the difference between your service and product compared to your competition?
So there's, obviously there's a lot of people that compete in different parts of that marketplace and intelligent transport management system. We're unique. We're the only ones that have got the whole gambit together at the moment and integrating. But we have, obviously, in telematics, there's a plethora of companies out there that market telematics in their own right, and we're integrated into most of the large telematic companies around the world. So they market our platform to their clients, and we market their platforms to our clients. So it's a very good cross-selling opportunity with those people, those clients out there in the marketplace. Even though they are competition, there's different parts of the process that they don't have, and we don't have some of the things they've got, which is great. The other, obviously, in community transport, there's again a plethora of those out there in the marketplace. Mm-hmm. Our USP there is our optimization. No one does optimization like us, therefore we're unique again, and our main USPs. In transport infrastructure, there's again lots of companies out there installing all of these devices, but no one's connecting them into a main platform like we are. And our booking system is unique. We've patented that's patent on it. Very, very unique. So we're sitting in a good position, even though we've got a lot of competition, and competition's good. We like it.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So at the moment, obviously, we've got a few things, a lot of irons in the fire. What's been the main generator of revenue? What's been the main generator of clients and customers coming towards you? And furthermore, where's the demand going to be in the future?
So obviously we've got, we see community transport as being a major growth area in our recurring revenue, particularly if we get appointed as the provider to those 500 providers, fully funded by the federal government, which is $200 per vehicle per month, which is fantastic revenue across all their vehicles. There's some 30 or 40,000 vehicles amongst them all, so you don't have to be too smart to do the maths on that. But I'm not saying we're going to get the whole lot, but it's a big marketplace, and we think that it's a major growth area for the company. We've obviously all those applications I showed you, our carpooling's going very, very well at the moment with local government authorities. Our turn-by-turn navigation is going very well with local government authorities with their waste management, and a lot of the school bus operators are putting that in as well, which is great because and they obviously need the seat check in there as well, which is good for all the children to make sure that they've got their seatbelts on. They're in the seat.
Absolutely.
Because, that big crash that happened down in New South Wales, where a lot of people aren't going to end up in jail, and I think the driver ended up with 24 years. So that wouldn't have happened had they had our system, for instance. So the major growth, though, I see into the future is smart cities, connecting this, and not saying it's going to happen tomorrow. It's a growth path on the way to building the company into something very, very large. And
so being on the panel at the moment for a lot of these projects and potential smart cities, when is realistic see that these are going to be implemented, and realistically where are we going to be seeing that majority that funding come through from the government?
So if you have a look at their smart city strategies, the good part about Queensland at the moment, between now and the 2032 Olympics, there's an absolute plethora of major projects that are going to occur, like the upgrade of the Bruce Highway. The perfect example of where we can work with Transport and Main Roads, bringing the infrastructure, smart devices into the operating systems and the intelligent transport management systems. Everyone's trying to do bits and pieces of this at the moment, and no one's thought about bringing it all together in one system. And I think the only other person out there in the world at the moment that's doing it is Musk with his, you have to buy a Tesla. And the good part about that system will work with any vehicle. Doesn't matter what the vehicle is. So, which is great for us. So, major growth opportunity for the company. But each of those projects are unique. They'll all be different little things and things that we'll make money out of on the way. We've just been appointed on one very large project by government. So that'll be something that we can announce in the future, and can't say anything more than that about it at the moment. But
that's completely fine. What strategy do we have? Sorry, what strategy do we have in place to grow recurring revenue faster?
So our full strategy at the moment to grow that recurring revenue is to put more sales people on board and start going out and selling our applications, which we haven't done. We've never gone out and sold this. So all of our revenue at the moment has been driven through just word of mouth and getting contracts on board. But we're now going to really drive that recurring revenue. We want to try and get our recurring revenue up to equivalent to our transport infrastructure revenue, which is that's sitting at around that 15 to 16. So if we can drive the recurring up to that, that'll do a lot for our valuation going forward.
Absolutely. And this question sounds like it's from a existing shareholder. They say they appreciate the management is working very hard, and quarterly reports have been put out, which is excellent. They're wondering if it's possible to have a bit more regular updates on how the business is performing.
Look, the ASX has really clamped down on just making announcements as and when you feel like it, which we used to be able to do and keep shareholders very informed. But now, unless it's got a large contract and it's going to have a big effect on your share price, you can't announce anything anymore. So, some of the large contracts as they start coming in, we'll be announcing. But if people want to go to our website, everything is on there. We're making announcements every second day about different things. And so if people go to our website, they will be able to see everything that they need to see regarding the company, because we're even putting out an updated website in the next few months too that'll even be more user friendly. But it's got everything on there that any investor wanting to know anything about the company and have updates regularly, they're all there.
Well, just one final comment we might make, Geoffrey, before we start wrapping things up. To any of those current shareholders or new potential shareholders, or even potential customers of your systems, what do you like to say to them as a final comment before we end?
Yeah, look, obviously shareholders of the future, we welcome everyone aboard, because we think we're on a very, very good growth path. We're very, very strategically focused on bringing it all together and focusing on creating shareholder wealth. So we're all about the shareholders. Even though one thing I must say, this quarter last quarter we had a record, but this quarter is not going to be anywhere near as good as last quarter. But overall, the half yearly is going to look all right. But I think the full year is going to be, and the future looks very, very rosy for shareholders.
Beautiful, beautiful. Well, thank you so much for your time then today, Geoffrey. If anyone attended today and didn't see parts or want to watch back parts, there will be a recording that everyone had access to at the end, and it'll be up on our YouTube. So thank you very much from our side of things from here at Sharewise. And obviously, Geoffrey, thank you for your time today. We look forward to having you on again and speaking to you next time.
Thank you, Lachlan, and thank you, everybody, for listening.